Hi everyone, welcome back. This is our podcast number 2 on marginal cost. If you didn't catch the first one, go back and check it out. It's got some good information for you. And if you did see the first one, you may remember that I mentioned a teaser, which is academia knew these problems were going on and they worked to cover them up. And you can tell this by looking at the different versions from the book. Hope you enjoy this, and we'll catch you later. Thanks. Bye. Okay, welcome back. Marginal Cost podcast number 2 and the cover-up. What I promised you last time was a discussion about errors that academia knew about and they tried to fix. And the way you can tell they tried to fix something is if you look at the books prior to the early 60s and looks at the books today, they are slightly different. And what they were trying to do is they are trying to cover up a phenomenon not seen in real life that I'll refer to as oscillating cost per unit. In the financial literacy model that we talked about the other day, you could have a break-even model and it would be over a month and the variable cost per unit were constant. This nice flat line. And the area under this curve is total cost. You could stack these back to back to back and get the look of a full quarter of business operations. And generally these would stay flat, but on some conditions they would rise. And that would be a inflation effect, cause a step increase in cost. For example, if you had to go out and buy another batch of 4,000 tires and they cost more this time, the impact of that increase of those 4,000 tires would show up in a flat curve that's higher than the previous curve. In the economics models in 1958, you don't get that effect. And if you put month 1, month 2, month 3 together, you see this, and this is Paul Samuelson's U-shaped marginal cost curve. He would really pound on the students and make them understand why this happened and where it came from and what its implications were. However, if you have a smart student in the class, he would take that model for 1 month, stick it next to another model for the second month, and put again a third one down to form a quarter. And you'd be going, okay, my costs go down, up, 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 and then they drop, up, 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 and then they drop. And it's like, dear Dr. Samuelson, please explain this. Why does this happen? And it would be pretty embarrassing if Mr. Samuelson couldn't explain what was going on. So this is what I refer to as oscillating cost per unit. It is never seen in real life. And therefore, the economists wanted to cover it up. So what happened was a new guy came along, a new bunch of economists represented by Gregory Mankiw. Okay, so here on the left, you've got a 1958 model from Paul Samuelson. All the same stuff, but notice that the first column is quantity. And here in Mankiw's, he's now got quantity per hour. A couple other differences. Mankiw doesn't do the U-shaped cost curve that Samuelson used to do. I think Mankiw just wasn't as creative or didn't care that much or just thought it didn't really matter. So he didn't teach what Samuelson taught. However, let's look at this quantity per hour. The reason they did that is Mankiw's model also has this oscillating marginal cost. So going to quantity per hour was a way to say, ignore those oscillations. Those aren't the costs you're looking for. And he would say, if I'm operating at the same rate, my costs are all the same. Remember that. If I'm operating at the same rate, my costs are all the same. That causes problems later when we explore this. So, changing the hour rate doesn't eliminate the problem, because you still got to remember that the frame is an accounting time period. As soon as you put quantity per hour up there, your fixed cost and your total costs are now per hour, and your time frame for your model is hourly. It's not monthly anymore, it's hourly. And that causes two things. One, the marginal cost per unit still fails to reflect real life observations, because notice how this marginal cost still sums to that number right there. Marginal cost per unit still sums to that. That was a problem I stated before. And Mankiw never explains this $3 per hour. But the real crazy one is, let's assume I've made 4 units. first unit, second unit, third unit, fourth unit. And I'm getting ready to make my fifth unit, and 59 minutes have gone by. If I make that unit right away, it's going to cost me $1.10. However, if I wait for a minute to pass and I get into the next hour, that means, whoa, all of a sudden my cost per unit went down to 30 cents. That just doesn't make any sense. This is mathematical gibberish. Doesn't work. So it really doesn't eliminate the problem, because the costs actually continue to oscillate. Just the time frame has changed to hourly. So let's say I've got my first hour of operation, I was running at 2 per hour. That's what my costs look like. And second hour, 4 per hour. It's building a little bit higher. My total costs are going higher. And third, 6 per hour. So what's happening is I still have the oscillations. I'm still going up and dropping down, going up and dropping down, going up and dropping down. It's just that I'm doing it every hour. Again, this is mathematical gibberish. No one has ever seen cost per unit drop at the end of the hour. And just to explore this a little bit further, suppose a business operator wanted to make 8 units in 2 hours. He or she could operate at 4 units per hour for 2 hours. Simplest way to do it. And the model would predict the cost would be $10.80. You take your $5.40 per hour, multiply by 2 hours, and get $10.80. Okay. However, the fixed costs are $3 per hour. So now my fixed costs aren't 3, but they're 6, because I got 2 hours in there. All right, so that's looking weird. Something's not right here. And his or her marginal costs are supposed to be 90 cents per unit. That would make my total variable cost 8 times 0.9 or $7.20, and I get a total cost of $13.20. Something's not right. These numbers are not jiving. This model has got something wrong with it. So the economist comes in and waves their hands and say, oh, no. It would be variable cost of $2.40 times 2 to $4.80, and this adds up to $10.80. So we're still good. But again, remember, this $2.40 is this added together. It's not this times 4. And marginal cost per unit is supposed to be 90 cents. The cost for my next unit to be manufactured. Okay? It's not. Something's odd here. So the other thing is, if you took that $4.80 and divided it by the 8 units produced, you get 60 cents, not 90 cents per unit. Marginal or variable costs have never been seen to move in this manner. This spreadsheet is just something to confuse students with. So, some observations. When economists change the economic model to hide oscillating costs, moving from quantities to rates, they introduce more unexplainable situations. Knowledge is defined as a justified true belief. Justified often uses proper mathematics, such as Newton's laws of motion. And true implies repeated validation from real observations. Economic theory misses on both of these marks. They're not using mathematics properly, and they're not supporting their theories with actual observations in the real world. The ideas that fail to garner justification and validation are best classified as an ideology and do not represent knowledge. Students will be better served studying personal finance. So, thanks again for listening. Be critical out there. Find the knowledge you need to prosper and to be successful. Thanks so much. Cheers. Bye. All right, everyone. I hope that little ditty made sense. The next podcast we coming out will be about the marginal product of labor and how economists got the math incorrect on marginal product of labor. Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye.